Hi everybody, it's your favorite neighborhood adventure racer, Emily Korsch, back again. Thank you so much for watching my first little video on the Off-Road Rage Facebook event page. I made it just really excited to see all the new interest and new racers that are going to join the sport of adventure racing and participate in the Off-Road Rage 12-hour adventure race in Warsaw, Missouri on October 24th. So in the last video, I just went through my bike setup, and then I had to just put out a request for questions. And so far I've got two questions, and two people that ask questions, and tonight I'm gonna answer Lauralee's questions, multiple. And then Matt, I'll get to yours too, but yours is a little bit more like detailed. So I just wanna take a little bit more time to think about it. But anyway, Lauralee, this one's for you. Plus anyone else who's watching it. So Lauralee, she had multiple questions, and the first one was about what kind of hydration packs should we, got some bugs here tonight, so what kind of hydration packs should we think about for the Off-Road Rage 12-hour? So I brought some samples, and I will just walk through kind of pros and cons, but basically you're just going to need a pack that can carry your mandatory gear, your food and water, and then any other like optional recommended gear throughout the race. And I would just plan on carrying your stuff for the entire course. Sometimes courses loop back on each other to a central transition area or TA. Sometimes they loop back so you can kind of take, 3 or 4 hours of stuff, and then you come back and then you take the remainder, what is that, 9 to 8 hours of stuff. But just like plan everything so that you never come back to the TA, and then if you do, it's a bonus and you get to carry a little bit less weight. So kind of what I would recommend for a 12-hour race is something like this. This is the Osprey Talon 11. And I'm not trying to sell you guys anything, just I'm giving you examples, so please don't take this as like a commercial, other than I use all the stuff that I'm showing you, so I just have that experience, but selling makes me uncomfortable, so I'm not here to sell. But anyway, so this is the Talon 11. Osprey also makes the Tempest series, which has more women-specific features, but the 11 here refers to 11 liters of storage. And kind of my general rule of thumb when I was getting started is like you kind of want to size your pack plus or minus 1 liter of storage per hour of the race, just to kind of as a starting point. It's not really a rule, it's just a starting point. So anyway, this is the Talon 11, so like 11 liters, 12 hours, like, okay, we're at a good starting point. So things that I like about this pack, it's got hip pockets. Those are like essential, whether you do hip pockets or some sort of storage on your shoulder straps, you just need to be able to access things out of your pack without taking it off. So some sort of shoulder storage item, which you'll also see more examples of, hip pouches. These are really nice because they have some like stretchy material, so you can fit more snacks. And then just, some side pouches for water bottles, main compartment, pretty simple. This one, yeah, and then it has a water hydration bladder sleeve in the back. So like super simple, super light. I do like kind of these extra little pockets. I call them an admin pocket, and I just use it for like my admin things, like sunglasses case, pens or Sharpies, chapstick, extra hair tie. So just kind of like a smaller, more accessible pocket. But anyway, this would be like 100%, it would handle the Off-Road Rage race, it would handle a variety of other races, pretty much up to probably that 20-hour, and maybe even beyond if it's like a warm weather race and you don't even need to carry that much stuff. So this is a great choice, Osprey Talon. Kind of for a longer race, you might want to think about this is a little bit different style of pack. This one's a Mac pack, Amp 25. And I really like this pack because it has like a gigantic opening that you can just shove stuff into, and then it has just this drawstring closure and a hood on the top, and again with this little admin pocket up here for your little doodads. So it's got side places for your water bottles, again nice hip belt pouches for snacks, or whatever else. And then I added these after I started using the pack. These are just kind of add-on shoulder pouches that have a bigger opening up here, and then this little nice smaller mesh opening. I like putting like trash and stuff in here because it can fit a ton of stuff. It keeps it all contained, but then it's really easy to empty out when you add a trash bin. So anyway, just another kind of style of pack. This one's 25 liters, probably a little overkill for Warsaw, but if you are getting into Warsaw and thinking you might be wanting to do like a 24-hour race next, then maybe you should kind of look at a pack that's a little bit bigger just to have that option. And then, so this is kind of, speaking of bigger packs, like if you all are coming from Eco Challenge fan city, which I hope you are, and I am too, you saw these packs quite a bit on the show. They're Hyperlites. This one's much bigger. It's 50 liter capacity. It's the Southwest 2400. Huge outside pockets, mesh, great for drying stuff. Humongous like inside capacity, great big opening. This material here is waterproof, so if you and it's, you know, you're not always like guaranteed to keep your stuff waterproof because there's openings in the side here for a hydration hose, but it is pretty nice. It does a pretty good job. But anyway, yeah, big side hip belt pouches. I added again these shoulder strap pouches. I just really like these. And then kind of the downside of this pack, I really like it. It's super lightweight, but I didn't have an admin pocket. And so I ended up using, it's not here anymore, but I like had a small dry bag that had all my admin stuff in it. I just like kind of, it was not as accessible as I would have liked. So anyway, that's just kind of one of my observations about this kind of pack at Hyperlite. What I will probably be using at Warsaw is more of an ultra running style vest. So I just wanted to show that to you guys too. This one's a Salomon, I think it's the Skin 12. Yeah, the Advanced Skin 12 is what this one's called. So this one's more of a like a hydration vest, or a ultra running vest. I'll just show it to you real quick. So it goes on pretty easy. It's just all like very compact and like kind of more on your upper body instead of the full length of your back, like some of these other packs would be. It's got the hydration hydration hose that just sticks under these elastic straps. Tons of front storage. I really like this pack because I have a zipper pocket here. I've got a stash pocket here. I've got a second stash pocket up here. And then I can also stash things underneath my armpit here. It's a little hard to get to, but it's like ton of front accessible storage. And then in the back, it has like a nice zipper compartment here that's also stretchy. So I've got a jacket in here, fork pump. I was testing my fork the other night. But anyway, the reason why I'm zipping this is because one thing you kind of need to make sure of, if you're going to use bike shoes or like separate pairs of bike shoes, if you have clipless pedals, and then you're going to have another pair of trail runners for the running and potentially paddling sections, you just need to make sure that whatever pair of shoes that you may need to be carrying will fit in whatever pack you bring. So just for an example, these are a pair of trail runners. They do kind of fit in here, but it's really tight. So this, let's see if I can even do it. I haven't practiced this. So if I'm going to be like you, if I'm going to be carrying shoes, if I decide, you know, if we go with clipless pedals so that we have a pair of bike shoes to haul around, plus trail runners, like that kind of takes up a lot of my storage. So that maybe not is the best option. So we're probably going to go with just trail running shoes, no clip-in mountain bike shoes, and then I'll have all of this pack, all the storage I need to carry my stuff. So anyway, that's for packs. And then specifically about hydration, all of the packs that I showed you have routing for hydration hoses from a bladder on your back, and then you have the hose up front. Some other strategies I've seen is people really like these floppy collapsible bottles. They will fit in these front pouches. Some people really like to have like a real deal bike water bottle shoved in here. I've never been that kind of person. Just feels like there's too much on my front, but that's an option too. So if you want to do some testing, get some bike water bottles. I know now there's like extendo straws that you can get. It's more like from the ultra running gear suppliers, some extendo straws, and then it's easy to drink during the race. So that's hydration packs. Types of food. Laura Lee also asked about types of food. There's just anything and everything. So any type of sports bar, like a Cliff Bar. I like Picky bars, Pro bars, any kinds of gummies. I also really have been eating a lot more of like real food, like turkey and cheese sandwiches, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, cold pizza, really anything that you think is going to taste good, as long as you have like a variety of textures, flavors, a little sweet, a little salty, some savory, all that good stuff. Some sour sometimes helps wake you up. So really it's anything. Like, that's my answer for types of food, is anything. The only thing to consider is small things like M&Ms. You really want to only bring those on trekking sections because they're kind of hard to eat when you're biking or paddling. So like small things like M&Ms, any of the like gummies, the Cliff gummies or whatever, Sour Patch Kids, things like that. Just kind of bring those more for trekking stuff. Little pretzels, and then kind of aim for more bigger stuff for biking and paddling, like sandwiches or bars or things like that that are easier to eat with only one hand, because you really need two hands to be paddling or biking. Okay, next question from Laura Lee was about passport storage. So I don't have a passport at home, but I'll show you kind of what's going on. I made a sample one. So every team is going to get a passport. I know in Eco Challenge Fiji, these were like actual very passporty booklet type things, and that's more common for an expedition length race. But for these short races, you're just going to get, this is just printer paper, but you're going to get like a Tyvek paper, so it's waterproof, tear-proof paper that has this grid printed on it, and then that's where you'll punch all of your control points in these little squares to prove that you're at each checkpoint. So something that we've really utilized quite a bit is kind of making a necklace. So this is some shock cord. You can get whatever color you want. So when you get your passport before the race, you just make this little hole in the corner. If you're really worried about it, you can reinforce it with packing tape or something, but usually holds up pretty good. And then thread just a string of shock cord through, and then whoever's in charge of keeping the passport punch just wears it around their neck like this. You can like tuck it into your pack, tuck it into your shirt, into your sports bra, like whatever works for you. And then when you're punching, you have this kind of bunginess so that you can, reach out, punch, and then tuck it back in wherever you want it, and then off you go. This also works really nice when you need to be switching off who punches. It's not super common, but you might, everyone goes through their strong points and their weak points during an adventure race. So if you're a person who's punching and doing some extra running, like they need to take a break, it's really easy to just hand this off to another teammate, and they can go punch, and they can either wear the necklace then or give it back, or it's just really easy to transfer the passport around, and then you always know where it is because it's attached to the shock cord, and someone should either be, physically wearing it around their neck or just handing it off to someone else. So if you don't want to go the shock cord route, I would just recommend that whatever pocket you choose to keep your passport in, it needs to have a zipper, like a closable, secure, solid zipper, or a bungee cord closure that has a lock on it, something that's like guaranteed to not open. Because basically if you lose your passport, you're disqualified. I mean, you can keep racing, but there's no way to prove that you went to any of the checkpoints, so you don't get any credit for them. So you could keep racing, but you're just going to have a score of 0 at the end of the day. So for this pack here, if I was carrying the passport, I would keep the passport in this zipper pouch right here. And then the other rule, let me empty this. The other rule that I personally have for passports is whatever pocket your passport goes into, nothing else goes in there. So no food, no chapstick, no trash, no nothing, because the passport is just so important. Like, that's really your only piece of physical thing to turn in at the end of the race to prove you did everything you said you did. So if you lose it, your race is pretty much over. So just, you need to be, whoever's in charge of the passport, make sure that they understand that responsibility, and they've got a safe and secure pocket to keep it in for the whole race. There's just been like so many horror stories, and we've even been on races where we see passports fluttering in the wind, and sometimes we can go get them and reunite them with their team, and sometimes we can't, and there's just so much stress and anxiety about losing your passport. Don't do it. But even if you do lose your passport, just know that you've joined in with like thousands of other adventure racers all over the world that have gone through the very same thing. Okay, last 2 questions. Tall socks versus long pants. Super good question, Laura Lee. You should definitely have something that covers your entire leg. It could be long pants, or it could be tall socks or gaiters. I kind of like gaiters a little better. Or calf sleeves. So this is a calf sleeve that I've used before. They just go right over your socks. They cover your whole calf, and just keep your skin from getting scratched up from thorns. It's just you just need something kind of over your skin whenever you're in the woods. Otherwise you're going to come out with just red streaks like you just got in a cat fight, and kind of hurts the rest of the time. So calf sleeves, or these are like a more orienteering style gaiter. They have a little bit of like a shin guard up front, a little bit of extra padding in the front, and they go underneath your foot. So just something that's kind of lightweight. I like these ones a little bit better because they're easier to take on and off. If we were, say, going to go paddle for a long time and it was hot, I would take these off, and then kind of let my legs air out a little bit. They're not especially hot or anything, but anyway, this is a gaiter. Here's a calf sleeve, or you have a option for long pants as well. But whatever the case may be, wear something that covers your entire legs when you go into the woods. The shower after the finish line will just feel so much better if your legs aren't scratched up like all over the place. Okay, and then last question was, what about poison ivy? Kind of my only advice to poison ivy is sort of look out for it, but it's going to happen. It's kind of inevitable. And if you're somebody that's like especially sensitive to poison ivy, because we're all a little bit different on the poison ivy tolerance scale, if you're super sensitive to it, just be more careful with long pants and covering. But it's also one of those things that's like just kind of a fact of being out in the woods. And I find that like when I'm out orienteering or just doing on any trekking section and you kind of see it and you're like out of the corner of your eye, oh, well, there's a huge patch of poison ivy that we just ran through. Like, hope that turns out okay the next day. And a couple times we've had to go to urgent care after a race to try to get some treatment for especially bad cases, but in general it kind of just happens. And during the race there's not much you can do other than try to avoid it all, which just takes too much time. So it just happens. Oh yeah, and then so during the race, if you feel like you've been in especially vicious patches of poison ivy, just take a really good shower. Scrub with soap and water. If you have like an anti-poison ivy scrub like Xanthel, that really helps. Just try to clean your skin as soon as you can once you're done with the race. And then kind of, at least for me, it takes like 24 to 48 hours to really develop on my skin. So just kind of cross your fingers for those couple days and hope you don't get too bad of a case. Okay, so I think that's all your questions, Laura Lee. If you or anybody else has anything you want me to make a little video about, I'm happy to do it. I've got mats on tap for hopefully later this week. And then, yeah, anyone else, I'm taking requests. So just let me know what you need. But other than that, my name is Emily. I'll see you in Warsaw, Missouri for the Off-Road Rage 12 Hour on October 24th. And happy training. See you then.